Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. Today is Tuesday, June the 22nd, 2010. Let's have a look at the charts. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average chart, 6 months. Each one of these candlesticks is 1 day. Today, the market was down 148 points. Very bearish move there. You saw yesterday's inverted hammer situation here, as well as here and here. These inverted hammers shouldn't be showing up if this is a really good bull opportunity here, but ultimately we're bearish here, and we've shown you many reasons why. But today we're going to show you how to stack the odds of the trade in your favor. And you've heard us say that 1,000 times. Today we're going to show you a very simple way to do that. Okay, the first thing you got to do is look at your market before you look at any stock chart or ETF chart that you want to trade. Why? Because 90% of stocks are going to follow the overall market. So if the overall market's going down, 90% of stocks are going to follow that. And you don't want to be going long when the stock or when the markets are going lower, right? Because then you've got very slim odds stacked in your favor. Okay, that's number one rule. At least here at PerfectStockAlert.com, that is the rule. So let's get started here. First thing off, let's just look at each indication that I have here by each indicator, and I'll go over the indicators that I'm using here. That I always use the same ones. I trust these. I've used them over enough period of time to know what to expect from each one. And we have this stuff is on our free website at PerfectStockAlert.com, telling you which indicators we use, as well as the formulas for each indicator. So if you want to know that information, go there and check it out. All right, first off, we look at the slow stotch. Is this overbought or oversold? Well, it's overbought. If it's above 80 or at 80, it's overbought. If it's at the 20 line or lower, it's oversold. Short term, technically. Okay, so we would say that's bearish. Let's turn that around. All right, that's a bear signal right there. And price activity always is more important than any other activity, any other indicator. So you're going to give price activity 2 points, okay? So you've got an inverted hammer here. We're going to have to call that bearish. Well, get rid of that one. We'll have to call that bearish. And all right, so that's a bearish signal. You'll notice we've got resistance at the 50-day moving average and the upper Bollinger Band line. So this bounce is basically reaching the end of its little move to the upside. And you'll notice we are in a downtrend. Low point here versus low point here. That's in a downtrend overall, okay? So that gives us another bearish point, okay? That's 2 reasons to be a bear just based on price alone, okay? So I'll get that out of the way. Get that there. These 2 reasons right here, okay? So we've got 1, 2, plus this one is 3 reasons to be a bear. Let's move on down and see what else we can find. Okay, volume. Volume is very important as well, but we're only going to give it 1 point. First thing I want to know is how does today's activity compare to the overall activity? Overall activity is obviously bearish. You can see right here, stacked in favor of bears substantially. And the bounce here to the upside is very weak by volume, very weak volume in total, so it's very bearish, all right? So we're going to call that a bear signal as well, all right? We now have 4 reasons to be a bear. And let's move on down. Get this out of the way. All right, pull this guy down here. All right, next thing we're going to look at is the MACD. Depending on how you analyze this, you might call it bullish, you might call it bearish. I would call it bearish personally, and if it was bullish, it'd be weak, but we're just going to go ahead for the sake of this argument. We're going to go ahead and give it to bulls, all right? Say that bulls get 1 point, all right? There you go, 1 point for bulls. The RSI indicator, it's basically 50, it's 48, and that's neither bullish nor bearish. It's not overbought nor oversold. Overbought would be at the 70 line or higher. Oversold would be the 30 line. So we're just going to call this mute, nothing, okay? We're not even going to consider this. So right now we've got 1 reason to be a bull, and 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons to be a bear, okay? So the odds are 4 to 1, stacked in favor of bears. Very simple trade right there. Now this does not mean that the market cannot go up tomorrow or something like that. You know the market can. We're not looking at this as a day trader's perspective. We're saying overall the trend is 4 to 1 in favor of bears, just on the indicators we've used right now, okay? So all in all, we must be bearish. That means when we go looking for a chart, we're going to look for the same conditions we see here: overbought, slow stotch, inverted hammers near the upper Bollinger Band line, all these conditions to be stacked in our favor as well, okay? We do the same analysis on the chart as you do with this. Here's the rule that people drop the ball on a lot of times. I've just looked at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This does not mean I can go out and look at some tech company. That's a different average altogether, okay? Let's go look at the NASDAQ. Okay, looking at the NASDAQ, this is a 6-month chart. Each one of these candlesticks is a day. Obviously, this is going to get a bear signal because she's obviously overbought based on the slow stotch. And we're going to look at this. Remember, the price activity is always more important than anything else, so it gets 2 points. You got to give 2 points to it, okay? Um, we've said before the NASDAQ is actually showing more strength than any other chart, and you can see that clearly defined right now. You see a low point right here and a higher low over here. That's an uptrend still, so that's going to be bullish. We'll have to give a bull point for that. But the candlestick formation and finding resistance up here, we're going to have to give that bearish. So we're going to give a 1-to-1. Okay, we'll give 1 reasons to be a bear is you're finding resistance levels and a bearish engulfing signal right here, and 1 reason to be a bull because she's in an uptrend. Okay, so now you've got, well, wrong way. Now you've got 2 reasons to be a bear, 1 reason to be a bull. Okay, let's move on down. Look at the volume here. On volume activity, we see obviously it's stacked in favor of bears and it's very weak. So we're going to go ahead and be a bear there. You stay the bearish boy. Okay. And we will give this to bulls like we did the last time, even though it's trending lower and histogram is starting to weaken. We'll go ahead and give it to bulls just for the sake of argument. Okay. And moving on down, we can see that the RSI is neither overbought nor oversold, so we won't even talk about that today. Okay. Now, we've got 1 reason to be a bull, 1 reason to be a bear, 1 reason to be a bull, 1 reason to be a bear, and 1 reason to be a bear. So we're slightly more bearish than we are bullish on this chart. Okay. How would I trade that? I wouldn't. I would go to the other chart. It's easier. Okay. So I would stay away from tech. That would just be the way of protecting myself that much more. All right. Very simple strategy right there. And if I know what my overall charts are going to do, I can go look for the situations in my individual companies and trade them accordingly. All right? That's how you stack the odds of the trade in your favor. Do that every single time, and you will outperform probably 70% of the traders out there. When you don't have the odds stacked in your favor, wait. If let's say this one was trading at 50 right here, the slow stocks trading at 50, and this was just kind of flatlined at the middle Bollinger Band line. It wasn't really doing anything, bullish or bearish, and volume was just kind of mute, and I don't know. If all the conditions aren't telling you what to do, just don't do anything. That's the safest way to do it. Okay, wait for the good opportunities to come along. All right, now you know. If you've not been to our free website at perfectstockalert.com, it's 100% free and not internet free. It's free. Just check it out. All we ask in return is you refer a friend. That's that simple. And everybody should subscribe to our YouTube channel. Show their support that way so we can keep this service free. If you don't do that, I'll hit you with the stick. You know I will. All right? Let's look at our disclaimer. The disclaimer. You can read it. Awesome. Thank you all for your support. We've hit over 1,400 subscribers on our YouTube channel because of your support, because you're referring your friends, sharing our videos online, and that means a lot to us. Thank you very much. Please continue to do that. We're currently asking YouTube to make us a partner there. That would help pay for this service, and we need your support to make sure that happens, okay? Thank you very much again. God bless. Enjoy the evening. I'll see you all tomorrow. Stay short.